Welcome everybody. Here we are, 2014 F32 4 Series Coupe. All new for 2014, so it shares a platform with the 3 Series. So if you've seen our 3 Series video, it's very similar, but there are some subtle differences, mainly with the rear speakers and the way the front panels come off. So we're going to cover it anyway. So let's get started. To get this off, we're going to use our plastic panel removal tool, and you can see there's a seam all down through here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come with this plastic tool down here along the bottom edge, and we're going to work out. Well, it's good. This one's tight. That's good you guys are seeing this. So we get that off like so, and then come out. This bottom one's always tricky. It's got a little plastic, this little hook down here. So basically we're coming out and then off, and you can see it's just held in by little clips back here. It's a really straightforward process. That is going to expose us to 1 and 2 Torx T25 bolts. And again, we've got that here in our toolkit, the Torx T25. We've got our Bavsound driver here, and then we just simply go in there, go fishing, unscrew it. Super simple. You can see there's nothing complex about this. So as we do this, we do one door at a time. Of course, we roll our windows down. I always like to start on the passenger door. It's just the way I work. I like to go around the car. So passenger door, center channel, driver rear, passenger rear. Just a nice little circle, and then once you're all done, take a nice audition. So we hop up in here. Again, you can go do something else while you watch me. There we go, fumble for this thing down in there. So get these guys out of there, and you can see these 2 screws are exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about keeping them separate. We've got these 2 Torx T25s out. The panel is now loose. So the way I like to do it, there's a couple ways, but truth of the matter is the easiest thing to do is to just take a firm grip down here on this bottom corner of the door, and just with one little strong motion in. That's funny I say that, and it's, boy, this one's tight. That's good. That's good. Usually you can get them to pop free. So you just come back here with your plastic panel removal tool. You get one clip free. You heard that kind of give. And then once one of them is free, you can see the whole door just frees itself. And so I'm going to kind of pull it in. And then there's clips along this top edge as well. The whole panel just off like this. As you can see. Now we've got the panel in our lap. We just pop this out like so. You can see again how I did that. This is the door handle, so we just lift with our finger, just pop it out. So you can see the door panel open, closed, open, closed. So when you put it back together, you make sure it's closed. So with that out of the way, we can now, let's do this. Let's unplug our lighting here. That out of the way. We've got our, let's grab our metal panel removal tool. Let's pop out this clip here. These clips rather, holding in. This is going to the window. Get that out of the way. Like so. And that leaves us, actually, let's get this out of here too. Let's get all of this stuff out of the way. Get our lights. Boy, BMW did a thorough job of clipping everything down here. So again, we're just prying these little guys out. Unplug the light down there just by pulling out like so. All right, so now that we've got all of our clips out of the way, everything's free, the last thing we need to do, and we'll do this on the driver's and the passenger doors, disconnect this factory window switch. And there's 6 little, it's hard to show you guys, but if you look down through these holes, there are 6 little clips that we need to free up so that we can pop the window out, the control out of the door. So you need to use your metal panel removal tool here because it's really tight. and just, see like that? It just comes out like so. Now we've got it coming out of the front, as you can see, and we just unplug it like so, pull this out, and now our door panel is free. It's up out of the way, safe. We're just going to unbolt the mid-range, unplug the tweeter, unplug the wires coming from the factory amplifier, which we will reuse. These we will not reuse. We just use our Torx T20, pop the mid out, like so. Say goodbye to your anemic factory system. It is on its way out. So, factory drivers out of the way. We're going to get this tweeter pot off. All right, so to get the tweeter pot off, there's a little tab up top that just pops in, and then there's one in the bottom that goes into a little slot. So we actually need to remove the top half first, like so, and then we lift up and out. You can see right back here, this little tab. So that it sits down in this little U, we lift up and out, and it comes right off. So lift the top out, lift up and off, and then the tweeter pod comes off. And then we just pop out the foam, take off the 37 feet of wiring. We're going to take this up to our workspace so we can get the new tweeter installed. So here we are with our front tweeter pod. It's the same in the passenger and the driver door. So what we're going to do, we're going to pry out the factory tweeter. There are 4 little tabs in here, kind of holding it all in. And you can really just pry it out. Like, it's really nothing complex. It just pops out like that. Here's the new tweeter, which, as you can see, so pretty. And then our tweeter just goes right back in the way the original came out. Heard it snaps right in perfectly. It's like so. And then you can see from the front side, you see that beautiful machined aluminum ring, which matches your gauges on the dash perfectly. So it's just a fantastic fit. So the tweeter's in. I like to go ahead and do this now. So you can see we've sent you 2 little harnesses. These are for the front doors. Got little harnesses that snap in line between the tweeter and the mid-range. Absolutely imperative that you do this. This must be installed before you then plug into the mid-range, which is, and it's got its own little plug right here. So this just must go between the 2 of them. So just be conscientious of that. So with our tweeter in place, we take the factory stuff, that's the technical term, get it back in there like so. Actually, they've got this little funky little routing to the factory wires through the, let's do it the way they do it. Oh, fantastic. We'll do it the way they do it. So let's put this back on. They thought of everything. So you can see, just like the factory wires, that you might have noticed that you could see the factory wires through the factory grill. It's a really weird design. So the wires, you can see, just kind of fit in that channel, and then they just pop out back here like so. And then we'll just make the connections right here with everything else. So one thing I did forget to mention, it's very important that the tweeter terminals are not up here near this tab. You can have the tweeter turned around that way. We want them down here on the bottom out of the way because it's a very snug fit in there. So we just want to make sure that those terminals are not interfering with this clip right here. So noted, let's head back to the car and knock this out. All right guys, so here we are, got everything. We've installed our tweeter. We're going to put the tweeter pot in. We're going to install the mid-range. We're going to put a block of sound deadening on this speaker to get this nice and dead for the install. So first thing I want you to do, however, go ahead and plug in the window so that we can, wait, is that the window? I can't remember, is this the window? I don't know. They look the same. Peter? Let's see, I think that's the window. Yeah, that's the light. This is the light. This one's coming from the back is the window. So plug that in. We're going to roll the window up because we don't want to scratch the window while we're working, or especially if you've got tent on the windows like this car does. I'm going to turn it off and unplug it. So now we've got ample room. Plus Plus, what we're doing is we're going to put the sound deadening down, then we're going to fold it back around so that we can get the sound deadening on both sides of the metal, basically doubling up on it so we can further deaden this panel. So I've kind of cut out a little, we don't have a lot of room here as usual, so I kind of cut out this like so. We just want to, I've got a razor blade here, so we just basically adhere it like this, and then what we're going to do is apply it down with our fingers. And you're not going to hurt anything by just doing this. And again, remember, like we discussed earlier, we want to get it nice and tacky. What I like to do usually is take like the butt of my panel removal tool, and then you see it's getting a nice, we're getting it nice and adhered back there. You can see how I'm able to just roll over this and get a nice adhesion. So at this point, what I like to do, again, our window's up. I like to just cut some little strips, like so. And then I just take these guys and I fold them back around on the inside. So we've effectively doubled up on this sound deadening. So it's dead, which is what we want. So job done, well done, I should say. And now, actually it's kind of silly now, what we've got to do is actually there's a couple things we want to point out. So here's our new mid-bass driver. So you see we've got this little ring on the front side. We actually take that off and we put it on the back side, like so. So then the driver actually is oriented like this. So what we want to do, it's a little, tricky is not the word. So what we do is we just peel back this really thick, gooey stuff here, and that's where we're going to pass the wires up through, like so. Very straightforward. This stuff's gummy, so so we get the wires like so. Go ahead and get our mid-range secure. You can actually see the holes there. Let's go ahead and take our Torx T20, and where the factory speaker kind of mounted in here, you can see like these little, just poke a hole with your Torx bit, like so. Do it on all 3 points, like that. There we go. That'll get everything nice and started. Then, again, we just make sure our little ring is there. Perfect. Line it up. Start it with your hand. You don't want to inadvertently poke a hole through the speaker, obviously. So just get it pretty snug. Grab your next screw, like so. And that is perfection. So we've got our mid-range securely mounted, like so. As you can see, I'm just turning a little bit, going around, and that is nice and snug. And we pull up nice and snug on these, put this back. Actually, you know what we might as well do? Put that down, so, and then put that back down like that. And then everything is nice and sealed again, at which point we take our blue connector, plug into our blue connector, like so. That is nice and secure, out of the way. And then we will plug the tweeter in, but let's do this first. Let's put our window back down. So plug our window back in, car on, window down, car off, unplug the window, and now the tweeter housing ready to go. So again, we've got this little front edge here, this front lip that hooks around this front lip right here. And remember, we put our bottom piece in, snap it down, and then so, let's kind of show you that. The bottom piece in. Like so. You see how we hooked it around here, how that hooks in. And the tweeter housing is back in the car. So at this point, we simply take this, plug into the tweeter. Actually, let's keep this nice and tight out of the way. Again, you had that factory speaker, it's got its little thin foam ring on it. It's imperative that you do this as well on the new driver, and we've custom cut some little cutouts for you. The centerpieces you can make frisbees out of or do whatever you want. It's absolutely imperative so that the mid-range sits flush up in the grill and that the front of the waves are separate from the back. So it's very important that you do this. This just goes, you can see it's a brilliant, like everything, we've completely over-engineered all this stuff. So that when the panel sits on, it sits nice and flush. So, panel's done. Let's get it back up here. I'm gonna have to close this door a little bit to kind of come in here and work. All right, so you remember our window fiasco from earlier. Let's go ahead and get all that connected. Let's also get up here. Remember our door handle. Remember, we want it closed. So close the door handle. Snap, like so. All right. Boy, somebody is enjoying themselves a nice bit of marijuana, it smells like. One of our neighbors, perhaps. Tally-ho, good sir. We've got this guy down here. Yeah, if I could even see, I would like to show you guys. There's a little clip right there. And we plug in our light switch, like so. So now, all we have left to do is come, actually, you know what, let's get this on the outside of that. Then we close the handle, put that on, clip, clip. Don't forget to plug in these fancy schmancy lights. Be very careful with this piece. And lastly, we just align that. I like to align the top of the door first. And then I just take my hands and like so. So the door is effectively on. Don't forget we've got to still do our window. Make sure, boy, that is some strong marijuana. But we are in California. All right, so at this point we just lift up a little bit. You'll feel all of the clips kind of settle into place. Your door is back on. Well, for the most part. Let's keep it going though. Let's keep it going. So we've got this 20 Torx T25. These two to put right back in. Let's not forget them. One up top, one down low. Boy, I hope I am still coherent enough to continue on with this installation video. All right, so with that done, we are effectively, well, we need to snap these pieces back on. So again, with our windows, you can see the key, it's got two little tabs here on the back that have to slot under first. So we put them down, reach through, push back and down. Kind of finagle it in down here. Let's see, where does that guy go? He goes right there. And everything snaps back in place. So it really couldn't be more straightforward than putting all this stuff back together. Let's see, did that go in? Yeah, that went in. Did it? Yeah, it's in. And that completes the front door, and you can, again, look, you can kind of peek in there and see the little aluminum housing. And that's how we do our F32 front doors. So let's pause it right here and rejoin you for a little bit of action on the center channel. All right, guys, so we've knocked out the passenger front door. We're moving on to the center channel. Again, here we're in the 4 Series. This is a HiFi car. So what we'll find under here is a single mid-range driver. If you had the Harman Kardon vehicle system in your car, there'd be an additional tweeter under here. So in this particular case, we're just going to go ahead and take our plastic panel removal tool. I'm going to very carefully get up under this edge like so, and we're just going to rotate. We're just going around this edge here, and then we're just going to lift up like so. You see I'm just turning like that, and then once we get it started, well, actually, you know what? These new cars, they're so tight, it's actually good. Let's come around from this side. Do the same thing. And then, these are pretty darn fragile, so just be conscientious of that. And I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute. You can see exactly how we're working this out of here. And you can see, these are the clips so we're just freeing these little clips up, that's all. And as you can see, we've got another speaker. This car is about a month and a half old, and the speaker used to be black. And you can see the sun just absolutely destroys these speakers. So using our right angle driver that is in the Bavsound toolkit, we'll go ahead and grab each one of these Torx T20s and we will loosen these out of here. You do not want to drop these down there. Take my word, you do not want to do that. So get these screws out of the way. We don't want them going down inside the dash. You will spend all no, actually, I've never dropped one down here, so I can't say how bad it would be to have to go fishing for it, but rest assured, it wouldn't be pleasant. All right, so. And lastly, this one by the windshield closest. Just make sure you keep your fingers protecting this windshield nice and out of the way. So I'm just using my finger as much as I can up here because I just like to be safer on the windshield. So I got all 3 screws out. Speaker just lifts right out like before. Just be, again, conscientious of this. Unplug it just by pulling down. We've got the speaker out. Fantastic. So we're going to be installing our new, actually show you guys this, our new Bavsound driver. So here is the new driver, here's the old one. A little different, as you can see. There's a couple things we're going to do with the new driver. Number one, you can see we've machined a custom spacer ring, which we need to space the center channel out of this little area. Number two, we need to pop off this rubber boot from the mid-range, just like we did in the door. Again, this is just aesthetic. This serves no acoustical purpose. And in fact, in our later generation drivers, that's no longer going to be there because we were wasting a colossal amount of materials and we don't want to do that any longer. So again, now with the mid-range out, we're going to reinstall our new one. So the first thing we'll do, set our spacer ring in there like so. Then we shall take our mid-range. We won't use the tweeter plug unless you have the Harman Kardon card. Then you'll plug in the tweeter, and of course the tweeter bolts in right here. For those of us with the HiFi systems, not a concern for us. Snap that in, just like so. Turn our speaker around. Let's get everything situated out of the way, and let's see, it's hard to see from the passenger seat. Ordinarily, if I'm not filming, this is a lot easier to deal with. There we go. So we've got our mid-range there. We just, with our hands, start each one of these screws, like so. Pretty darn straightforward, huh? So, get it back in, flip the little switch, get each one started. Don't just go torquing one down and then go get all the other ones. Do one at a time. Just get everything started and then just snug Get that one snug. And again, just be careful to always protect the windshield. I mean, we're not going to do any damage. I mean, there's not that much torque going on up here, but again. And as you can see, we now have a perfect fit for our mid-range in the dash. So at this point, we just make sure everything's clear. If your tweeter's there, again, it would just bolt right in. And now we take our housing, line everything back up, and just using our fingers, snap it back down. Voila, we've upgraded the center channel. So at this point, we would move over to our driver's door. But what we're going to do is join you guys in the back seat to go ahead and get started on the rear mid-ranges. All right, guys, so here we are, the back seat of our 4 Series coupe. And for you bigger boys out there, this might not be up your alley. Nevertheless, watch, observe, see if it's for you. It's still very straightforward. So let's get this back seat out. Cushion, bottom cushion first. There's 1, 2, 3 little tabs we just lift up. Back seat pops right out, like so. It's really straightforward. Just comes out like that. And fold it up out of the way. Get it out of the car. You'll have your assistant, maybe your child, maybe your buddy. All right, so now we got to pull out one more cushion to get this panel out, and that's this cushion right here. So let me actually move. Sorry about this. There's 2 grown men in the back of this car. It's tight. So all we're going to do, take our hand here, pull straight back, and then lift up. And then there's a little black piece here, little tab. You can see it just, let me show you right here. Did I just put that on backwards? What the heck is that? Just snaps on like that. So that piece is out of the way. We now have free access to this side panel. And it is entirely secured. There's a line of metal clips across the top, and then there's a perimeter of plastic clips. So it just comes straight out. So the way we're gonna do that, let's see if I can get out of the way here. So we come over here, we take the trim off like this, just exposing all of this. And then I like to use my fingers here. I really don't like using tools if I can help it. This might be really tight, I'm not sure. I do have a tool ready if I need it. But you can see, I like to use my hand. And it's tight. So you can get back here. Pull. Get your hands up under here, pull, and you can see she's slowly coming. Got this free, and now with these come straight out, like so. Let me change positions. And again, mind you, we're only, a couple of minutes into this. It's really straightforward. It's not complex at all. And so we just pull in like so. And then for this last clip in the back, where I am out of there using your metal panel removal tool. I know it's tough to see, guys, but once you're in here, you'll see it. And again, mind you, this whole process we're just a couple of minutes into it, so it's really not complex at all. So we'll get this guy out. I'll show you how to move it all the way out of the way. All right, so basically what we did was using our metal panel removal tool, we just hooked this, we pulled it out, and then we pulled this out to free up this little piece here. It doesn't look like that. No, we have one more right there. You can see. And we don't want to misplace these. As you can see, that whole piece comes up and out of the way. and will let us conceivably, not really, okay, that just had a little clip up there, so that snaps right out. And that lets us take our panel. So then you can see this little thing right here, we just depress this tab and pull out like so. And then this little 3-pin plug was also connected right here, so I just unplugged it. Then we unplug our speaker. There's one more little tab over here, and our panel comes out of the car and up to our workspace. So really cool design, and it's not that involved to get it out. It's just, again, if you're a bigger boy, it's not super easy. Well, it's easy, but you know. So let's pause it here. Let's head to the workspace. Let's change the speaker out and get this ball rolling. All right, guys, so we're here on our workspace, again, with our F32 4 Series. We've got our rear side panels out. They're both done identically, left and right side. Like we discussed, this is a HiFi car. If you had a Harman Kardon car, you can actually see a little indentation in the panel there. There'd be a secondary tweeter there, which we would also be upgrading. And again, we've got videos covering that, but this particular car, if you've got a 4 Series Harman Kardon, we're working on that video right now, but in the meantime, you get the gist with how to get everything apart, and the tweeter, you just pop out of its housing, snap our tweeter in, plug it in, it's done. So anyway, let's get moving. This is, again, held in by just 3 Torx T25 bolts. Really straightforward process here. This is super exciting. Probably never seen anybody unscrew a speaker like this in your life. All right, so speaker pops out, one and done, easy enough. So you can see how it's got a little foam ring around it like this. Ours, we're gonna take off this particular foam ring that comes off, and we've actually sent you a custom cut foam ring. The center part we don't need. Unfortunately, it's just part of the process. Center part pops out, and then we take our foam ring, peel off the gasket, just drop it down like so. As you can see, it's a perfect custom fit for the driver. So now we take our speaker. Again, this is, you know, you can actually, you know what, we might as well do it in this car. So here's what we're going to do. With the speaker off, we're going to go ahead and apply some sound deadening to this area right around the driver, just to further deaden the panel and control the resonance from the movement of the driver. And then this stuff is glued down. They used to use little adhesive pieces. Now it's all glued down, so it just makes things a little bit more complicated for us. So what we want to do is, why don't we cut it about right there. And again, this is just, we want to focus on the area around the driver just to keep resonance under control. This stuff's really tacky. I always recommend using a heat gun or a hair dryer to make it even tackier. Fortunately, it's about 100 degrees in here today, so it's pretty darn tacky right now. So then we can just kind of take this, lift up our material, get this. Boy, they put a lot of glue in here. They do not want you getting this up out of the way. There we go. There we go. So now let's get this adhesive down like so. Using our hand, then we'll take our blade. We just kind of cut around like that. So get it nice. So again, we're just deadening this area right around here. And if you've got the tweeter, again, you would just cut out provisions for the tweeter. And again, this isn't a real science, sound deadening. It's really just a coverage area. But again, what we want to do is focus on this area around the speaker itself. So, you know, within reason, I mean, you can take all this off and re-adhere it, which in a lot of cases I might do, but in an instructional video, we're not going to go to that length. But, you know, this is just all this area we want to cover. So at this point, we're going to take our new driver, after we've installed all of this. Again, it's going to sit a little bit higher because we've got that thick foam, but again, we want a nice tight seal. So we start with our fingers. You guys are probably admiring my thick, luscious hair right now. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough having hair like this ladies fawning over me pretty much constantly. Random women want to run their fingers through my hair. Don't hate, fellas. So we get everything snug, and then we work our way around. That's the 6 o'clock train. Right here on that. Cool. So then we're good there. So everything is snug. And so this is for the tweeter. If you've got the HK system, we of course will plug that in here. This goes to the factory BMW plug that's in the car already. So what we'll do, just to, in the interest of keeping things clean, we've already got a little hook down here for the wires, you can see. So we'll just put those right in there. Plenty of room, like so, to get those out of the way, and then we'll just plug those back into the car when we're done. So that's how we do our rear mid-range drivers. And again, if you have the tweeters, we'll show you that in another video. But it's very straightforward. These HiFi cars are the most popular setup, so this is what your setup's going to look like. So let's we'll get this back in the car. All right, guys. So the party resumes here in the back seat. That just sounded worse than I thought. So, all right. So just make sure these little tabs are all pressed back down, nice and in their proper locale, like so. And if you recall from earlier, our friend, the seat thing. Just keep it out of the way for right now. What's the last thing we're going to do? So we get our panel back in place, and stuff you can't see right now is going to be me plugging things in. So just plug things in. Hey, look at that. You can see. It's a little tight back here, but anyway, we're plugging everything in. It's the plug-in party. Plug in that. Plug in all the magic cables over here. I don't know what they do. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're all important cables. Oh, that's the LED lighting. Yeah, I just tend not to concern. We're music guys. All right, speakers plugged in. Everything's plugged in. So we just take our panel, line it up like so. You'll feel it kind of settle into place and just snap. And then what we kind of do, little ledge or something, you never really, oh, that goes in. Look at that. So then we can knock that back into place, and you can see we have a perfect fit down here. And as far as the back goes, there's a little clip right there. Look at that. Ah, there we go. They all just fall in place. And the panel is perfectly back into place, as you can see. So then we just fold down our seat like so. So you've got the little tab that goes in there, the tab that goes up there. Trying to make this pretty easy for you guys to see. Again, so this all just goes just like that. And we have our little clips that we had removed earlier, of which we managed to lose none. It's always a good sign, right? So then we just get this guy here lined up like so. Get these guys pushed in like so. Everything just kind of falls into place. The cars are very, very well built. Then we just insert the little center pieces like so. These little guys. Like so. This guy. Like so. Then we grab our back seat cushion. Probably go ahead and even close that. Now you can see we've got a couple of little copper pieces, little pegs. They slot in right here. And where did that one go? So one slots in somewhere around here. I don't really see where it goes. Yeah, you know, it goes in there somewhere. It's not hard to figure. So let's get this. The key is getting these guys lined up properly. You know what? I think we should let the seat down. It's just hard to do this with two dudes back here. All right, so it's very simple. We're just lining up like so, tucking the leather under there, pushing it in. Bam, perfection. The back seat snaps back in. The party's over, the hard work's done. We can now enjoy our stage one after we've had a beer or four. And let's head up to the front of the car and get some tuning done and rock on. So it's quite simple. We've got the car on. We're going to go into our settings. We're going to talk a little bit about the bass, the treble, etc. So we hop into our tone. And again, this is the HiFi tuning. This is relevant to both sedan and coupes, 3 and 4 series. So boy, look at that. He had his factory treble wide open. I actually kind of like it around +1. Bass flat, always flat. It's absolutely key to keeping this car balanced. Fader back in the middle now that we've got, I was audio it to the rear. Back in the middle, we want a nice balance in the car. And that's it. That's where we're going to set our settings. Now, what we can do, if you're a little bit older, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you can have a little bit more fun with this, only because a lot of, we're losing that top end of our hearing. So, but it does still increase the distortion above 2,500 hertz. So kind of be aware of that. So, somewhere around there, 2, 3, 4 for you guys in your 70s. Or if you've been to a lot of rock concerts. But bass always flat. Always flat in these cars. It's absolutely critical. You're not going to create any more bass in the car by turning that up. It's just going to increase the distortion. So that's all we're doing with our settings. And from here, we just rock out. I mean, at this point, it's the work is done. The party's over. Pat yourself on the back. Go have a drive. Enjoy the tunes. And we'll see you guys next time.